Hello everybody, this is Reese's Reviews here, and I finally got the chance to see Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales, or Salazar's Revenge, depending on where you come from. So, first off, it was a really good movie, I thought. I think it achieved what Rob Marshall, the director of Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides, wanted to achieve, which was he wanted to go back to Jack Sparrow and the pirate franchise as a whole, not just Jack Sparrow, where it was fun and it was action packed and there was still a compelling story there. And I think they did this quite well in this movie. So this movie was directed by Joshim Ronning, there we go, and Espen Sandberg. And I think they did a very good job, like I say. It's so beautifully made and directed. And the music by Jeff Zanelli it's good. My favourite music was the second movie, Dead Man's Chest, and I don't think this was as good as those first three, but it was good still. And you know, the Pirates music has always been very well made. So the main plot of the movie is that Jack Sparrow, he's kind of a bit bummed out. He's lost all his crew. He doesn't get much treasure. He's kind of losing his edge as that pirate that kind of always achieves what he wants. And so he's at a bar one night and he wants a drink, and the only way he can pay for it is to trade his compass. And when he does this, he accidentally releases his arch nemesis, Captain Salazar. Because when you give away the compass, it releases your darkest fear. Which, obviously, Jack's darkest fear is Captain Salazar. And Captain Salazar is a Spanish sailor. And he is the villain of the movie, and he attempts to kill Jack Sparrow because Jack caused him his demise. And the only way Jack can kill Captain Salazar and stop him is to get a piece of treasure called the Trident of Poseidon. Now, it just so happens that at this same time, both two of the new characters in the film are trying to get to it as well. Karina Smith and Brendan Thwaites. Which we'll go on to in a minute. When I get to that. And then that's basically the whole plot of the movie. But let's get into some of the characters. So, Johnny Depp reprises his role as Jack Sparrow and does so very effortlessly, I think. It's hard to imagine, like, someone else playing Jack Sparrow. Like, he is so perfect for the role. And for the first half of the movie, I didn't really like what they did with Jack. They kind of made him too much of this drunken idiot. But in the second half of the film, I really, really started to notice that the old Jack that we met in Curse of the Black Pearl, I feel like he was back. I really did, and I really enjoyed that. Jeffrey Rush is back as Captain Barbossa. And, yeah, he was very good as well. I wasn't a fan of Hector Barbossa in On Stranger Tides, because he was Privateer Barbossa, and that was always a bit weird to me, because I would have never guessed Hector to have joined the Royal Navy. That didn't make sense to me. But in this, he is, after defeating Blackbeard in the fourth one, he is Commodore Barbossa of his very own fleet. And that was more believable. And he does very well in this movie. He actually is part of one of the subplots, which is very cool, and we'll get onto that in a second. But our new characters, which I'm not going to talk about the villain yet, I'll talk about that when we get to it. But we had Brendan Thwaites, who played Henry Turner, the son of Will Turner. And we had Kaya Scodelario, who played Karina Smith, or Karina Barbossa. And they were okay, they were generic, they were fine. I think I preferred Scodelario's character a little bit more, because she was interested in the stars and all and that sort of stuff. So that was interesting a bit, but yeah, they were just generic. They didn't do anything offensive though, so it wasn't bad. It wasn't offensive, and that was okay. And so while Jack wants the trident to get rid of Salazar, Brendan Thwaites' character wants it because he is the son of Will Turner. And so he wants the trident, because when you break this trident, it gets rid of all the curses. So Henry Turner wants to break this trident so that his father will no longer be bound to the Flying Dutchman, and he can come home. And then Karina wants it because she's been studying how to get it since she was a child, since she was orphaned as a child, and she feels that when she finds it, it'll help her figure out who she is and who her father is. Which it turns out to be Barbossa, but yeah. So the positives of this film, because there are a few, is I think it was a very successful throwback to the first movie. There were like two main sequences in this where I really felt like we had the old Jack back. One main sequence that was very old Jackie-like, and one that was just very fun to watch. The very fun to watch one was where Jack Sparrow was about to be executed with a guillotine, and Henry Turner roped in, and everyone started shooting him, and then the pedestal with the guillotine on was destroyed, and so Jack Sparrow was spinning around with the guillotine, keep going this close to his neck and this close to his neck, and that was really fun to watch, and it was really funny. There was a bank robbing scene at the start where they literally robbed the bank, and that was really, really clever and really funny. But then the one that made me feel like the old Jack was there was when Captain Salazar's ship was next to Jack's ship. They were there was cannon fire going off, and the cannons were very close. Both ships were very close, and Jack was using the cannons as stepping stones. And that was very smart and very, very the way that old Jack would maneuver. So that was really fun. There was a very good villain in this movie with Captain Salazar. Javier Bardem did a great job as Captain Salazar. I think sometimes the accent, he did try to put a very strong accent onto Captain Salazar. And I think sometimes this accent was a little bit too thick and a little bit too rich so you could understand him sometimes. But other than that, he played the character very, very well. And he was just an interesting character all over. When we saw his backstory, we saw that he was the captain of a Spanish ship. And he was hunting down all the pirates because his father and grandfather had been killed by pirates. So he tasked himself to kill all the pirates. And he was on the final ship. And it was Jack Sparrow, and Jack Sparrow led to his downfall. And that's why Salazar wants to kill him so much. And what I really liked about this flashback, which I didn't expect to see, was some Jack Sparrow history and some Jack Sparrow origin stories. And I really didn't expect that, so I was pleasantly surprised by that. To no surprise as well, this film's very well acted, very well made. The cinematography is amazing, the score is amazing. Costumes are great, and I think every scene in these movies where it's daytime and there's a battle going on, open ocean, I think it just looks so stunning and so beautiful. And they use the weather well in these movies, to convey moods. And I really like that. I think it's so smart, the way it's created, and it's such a well-made movie. Now, I have only said good things so far, but there aren't all good things. There are some weird things. Well, not weird, bad things, should I say, negatives. The first negative I'm going to speak about is the final act. I thought the final act dragged so much. Because I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but it was it felt weird. If there was decision making with the characters, they'd contemplate for a good 10 more, 20 more seconds than they would earlier. And it was just a pad runtime, because the film is already shorter than all the other Pirates films by at least 10 minutes. So, it was already a shorter movie, but they were just trying to pad this runtime by having them contemplate for another 30 seconds each thought, and it was getting a bit dull. I don't feel there was a good enough final battle. like in At World's End or Curse of the Black Pearl, or even on Stranger Tides for that. But it was still good. It was still okay. Just a bit boring. Another thing I didn't like was the reused storylines. I wasn't a fan of the father-son relationship between Henry and Will, just simply because the second and the third movie, Will Turner, like Orlando Bloom's Will Turner, is trying to save his dad, Bootstrap Bill. So, I feel like this was just the exact same, but just told in a slightly different way. Like, it felt lazy to me, and it actually kind of annoyed me that they didn't think of another plot with them. Because, like, not everyone has to be related. And not even having to be related, like, segues into the next point that it's revealed that Karina and Barbossa are related, father and daughter. But it was, I think they imagined it as some, like, dramatic reveal that would make you, like, gasp in awe for, like, 30 seconds. But it was kind of just, like, cool. Because it didn't affect the plot in a massive way that would make you react amazingly. So, yeah, that was a little bit weird. And then the final negative I want to speak about is the Royal Navy. In the first 3 movies, you had some big names in the Royal Navy. You had Lord Beckett, you had Commander Norrington, Elizabeth Swann, Governor Swann, and they were all big characters. But in this movie, there was, like, no big characters in the Navy. Like, I don't even know, I don't think you get the names of any of them. But yet there's this whole subplot, and probably my least favourite subplot of this entire movie, is that they're trying to get the Trident so that the British Empire can control the seas, which, I mean, it's believable, but it's just dull. And, like I say, at one point in the movie, you just don't see them again. And then another reused storyline as well is there was this new witch that I can't even remember the name of, and she felt to me like such a Tia Dama ripoff from the second and the third movie. Like, I think they wanted her, but we couldn't because Tia Dama got turned back into Calypso. We couldn't have her in the 5th movie, but I think they really wanted her back, but they couldn't, and so they brought in this new witch, and she was kind of interesting, but I don't think she was a good character that much because she wasn't fleshed out. But as a final verdict, I would give this film a 7.6 out of 10, because it is still very fun, and I think you will enjoy it if you like the Pirates movies. I think if you like the first movie a lot, you will like this movie, because I think it goes back to that a lot. If you didn't like the 4th movie, or you thought the 4th movie was a bit weaker, I would give this one a try, because I think it could redeem this for you. And finally, if you thought the first movie was okay, I don't think you'll enjoy this, because it doesn't really get into that first movie vibe until about halfway through. But yeah, it's a fine film. Yeah, I think you'll enjoy. I think it's worth a watch, and I would recommend it to Pirates of the Caribbean fan. So thank you very much for watching. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to see more content like this on a daily basis. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Reece Taylor. Goodbye.